Howdy y'all, welcome to Adventures Kendall. Today we're going to the small town of Ojai, California. It's a small community within Ventura County, and I can't wait to show you this wonderful place. So let's get going and head to Ojai, California. Welcome to Ojai! The history of Ojai is as big and beautiful as the valley itself. The earliest inhabitants of what is now the Ojai Valley were the Chumash natives. The name Ojai is derived from the Ventura Chumash word Ojai, meaning moon. However, a book from 1905 states the name came from the indigenous word for nest, though it never specifies a specific tribe. In 1837, Fernando Tico, a Santa Barbara businessman, received the 17,716-acre Rancho Ojai Mexican Land Grant, which included both the lower and upper Ojai Valley areas. He operated a large cattle ranch on the land and moved his large family to an adobe in the lower valley. He later sold the Rancho Ojai in 1853. After changing several hands, the rancho was finally purchased by Thomas A. Scott, a Pennsylvania oil and railroad baron. The petroleum exploration of the Ojai Basin was the result of oil seeps along the Sulphur Mountain area. Scott's nephew, Thomas Bird, used a steam-powered cable tool drilling rig on the north side of Sulphur Mountain. In 1866, Josiah Stanford, brother of future California Governor Leland Stanford, dug oil tunnels on the south side of Sulphur Mountain, producing 20 barrels a day for the Stanford Brothers oil refinery in San Francisco. Even after Scott and Stanford ceased oil exploration in the valley area, oil extraction continued with Thomas Bard's Unocal. This production continued until 1998. In 1874, the town was laid out by San Buenaventura businessman R.J. Surdam and was named Nordhoff in honor of writer Charles Nordhoff, who had written a book, California for Health, Pleasure, and Residence, a book for travelers and settlers. Soon, Nordhoff was a bustling little community by the time the Ventura and Ojai Valley Railroad connected the town to the National Rail Network near Ventura Station in 1898. The railroad not only brought passengers into the little town Nordhoff, but also provided great freight service, such as the movement of citrus and other produce from the farms to the movement of oil from the petroleum extractions. Soon, Nordhoff, later renamed to Ojai in 1917, became a popular wintering spot for wealthy Easterners and Midwesterners. Among those was Edmund Jimid Libby, the owner of the Libby Glass Company of Toledo, Ohio. After his first winter in the valley with his wife, Florence, he fell in love with the area. However, he decided to beautify the little community, and in 1916, he got started. He first bought all the properties on the south side of Ojai Street, where Libby Park is today, and demolished most of the buildings on that side of the street. He then hired the architectural firm of Frank Mead and Richard Wickle of San Diego to transform Nordhoff into the Spanish-style town center that we see today. Now that we have learned the history of the town of Ojai, let's go explore it. Our first stop, this arcade from 1917. Here's the plaque on the arcade. This arcade, built in 1917, was built by Edmund Libby, who was a local winter resident back when the town was known as Nordhoff. This arcade is very great, but let's explore other parts of this town. Being one of the big investors in Ojai, the Libby family have left a lot in this town, from the arcade to the park behind me. Because of the many gifts Libby left for the town, they named the park after him. And quite a park it is! Look at this place! It's got a fountain, a nice play structure for the kids, and a nice tennis court back there. I mean, look at this wonderful place. It's great for everyone to relax in. This park is quite beautiful, and there's a lot of things to do around here. Let's go check out the tennis courts. In this park, famous tennis players played in this court. This includes Arthur Ashe and Jimmy Connors. These players will end up in Wimbledon. It's rather fascinating to know that this small park holds big tennis events. Right behind me is the Libby Bowl, and we're going to see a Disney concert later. Now, there's one thing you should know. As you walk down to the Libby Bowl, there's the Trumpet Sound Arch. And as you can see, it goes off with quite a tune. Well, I'm in my seat. Time to listen to some good old Disney music. After listening to all that wonderful Disney music, I would like to read the stories that inspired the movies. Let's go check out Bart's Books. Right behind me is Bart's Books, an outdoor bookstore. Come on, let's go check it out. Judging by the amount of books I'm seeing so far, I'm enjoying this. I mean, look around you. There are so many good books, and they're all in a very inviting environment. Let's go see some. I like this one. Maybe. This place has books for everyone, whether it's history or art. And for me, since I like trains, I bought one for myself. I recommend coming in down here when in the area. And now, a first for Adventures with Kendall. A tour of the Nordhoff Cemetery, a location with quite a reputation for being haunted. Let's go check it out. This graveyard, it's quite spooky. Being in the valley that is one of the most haunted in the state of California, it is not surprising that this place has a spooky aura, ranging from children who died early, particularly in the 19th century, to veterans such as ones from the Civil War and World War I. There's quite a lot of things to be spooky about. Quite a lot. Now, reportedly, there's a black lab that likes to roam around here. And it's this particular grave where that dog comes from. Now, I'm not the one that admits to being afraid of ghosts. I will say this. If I encountered that black lab, I hope it's a friendly encounter. You know, in a strange way, being here in this cemetery is quite beautiful. Just thank goodness it is not nighttime when the ghosts come out. Hey, did anyone lost a dog? If you feel like being chased out of the cemetery and need a quick way out of town, here's the Ojai Valley Trail. The Ojai Valley Trail will take you from Ojai to the beaches near Ventura. This trail has a bit of history of its own, for it is the roadbed of the former Ventura and Ojai Valley Railroad. The rail line was abandoned in January 1969 after a 9-day Pineapple Express flooded parts of the railroad. The Ojai Valley Trail was created 20 years later in 1989. Quite fascinating to learn about while in the area. This 9.5-mile trail is a great way to get from the heart of Ojai to the Pacific coast. After a nice long hike on this trail, I would like to find a place to find comfort. Let's go to the Ojai Valley Inn. The biggest contributor of income for Ojai is the Ojai Valley Inn. However, due to COVID, we were not allowed in. The things to do in the Ojai Valley Inn include golfing and having a big gathering, all in a wonderful complex within the valley. This beautiful valley was featured in the 1937 film Lost Horizon, and quite a valley it is. In the 1937 film Lost Horizon, the explorers see this new home. If they arrive into Ojai at sunset, they'll be greeted by the greatest view you'll ever see, the Pink Mountains. It's a phenomenon worth seeing while in the area. Speaking of great views, this valley view is very beautiful. From the mountains to the valley floor and farms. It's really amazing to be up here. But now, let's head back to the studio. All aboard! Wasn't that interesting, folks? I never knew there was such a nice small community like Ojai. That whole valley was very beautiful, and the small town was wonderful. I will admit, going to a cemetery like that was both scary and strangely beautiful, as I said earlier. I never knew that beauty could be found in a cemetery, but that's just me. Well, that's all the time we have here in Adventures with Kendall. See you later, folks, and may your gifts bless the world.